Hey guys, Veebat here with another V Plays, and they're doing another collection bundle, and it seems like it's all Russian rocket planes. So there's the 302, and then there's the Yak-3RD. Now I am in the 302, and you'll notice I have the shiny paint job. I've never had the shiny paint job, it was never an option for me. And I made an interesting discovery as soon as I repurchased the bundle. I got the equivalent of the aircraft worth of gold back into my inventory, and I also got the gift of the extra gold as well. So that was nice, but it also gave me access to the paint job, which is what I really wanted. Now, the paint job gives you not only an extra 5% towards cruise, but it also gives you another 5% towards your top speed, if I'm not mistaken. So it actually has a little bit more going for it than I initially thought it would. So that definitely is nice. Now, I've also described this aircraft as a really great way to get into rocket planes without having to buckle down and buy something like the J8M. And also, I think a lot of us will realize that the J8M is a very difficult aircraft to fly. It's not something you can just hop into and do well in because it carries those very temperamental 30mm cannons. This aircraft, on the other hand, has 4 20s, and while they're not the best 20s that are available, it is going to be more than enough to be able to get them locked on target and cause some serious damage. I want to head over to the mining facility. Maybe we can intercept a bomber. We're using that boost cooler to get maximum velocity out of this thing, and at this tier, being able to hit 554 miles an hour, that is going to be a quick aircraft. Now, is there even anything up here? You see a bomber in the mid. Maybe not a bomber down here. Human in a tornado. Pretty high health. We'll give it a shot. It looks like he was turning on us, so we're just going to press through. We're going to head towards the middle. This place in 14 seconds is going to become a flak field anyways, so might as well try and influence a zone we can capture, right? Where is that multi-role? That's a human-controlled... Not human, but enemy aircraft, I should say. This heavy's... Or no, it's not even a heavy, it's a light. Perfect. I love lights. Not even sure we got credit for that kill. Let's go for the dough. Because rockets don't care about altitude, they climb like you wouldn't believe. Just trying to get these guns to be consistent here. As we let loose on this guy, the fire gives us a little bit of that sustain we were hoping for. And there's a human and a P-51D. He might be fast, but I am way faster than he is, and we've got a little bit more when it comes to the consistent firepower of these cannons. So let's go ahead and give a little bit of a wide berth. There are enemies coming in. XP-55, A7M, those are going to be altitude aircraft. And of course there's a human and a spec'd out bomber. We'll make a few hits on him here, but we're not going to give him a lot of chance to hit with those machine guns because he is just a pincushion of 50 kills. So let's come back up and do another boom and zoom pass from underneath. Let these guns cool off. Maybe we can finish him off here. Got him. What is this? That is a heavy. Oh, we got ourselves into trouble here. Engine's out, but the boost is back in. Let's hammer down. We've got 3, 2, 1, and a few more seconds left on that. A7M is gone. There's a human and a P-47B. We got real lucky we didn't get taken out there. I do see ground attackers and another multi-roll. Is that Typhoon again? Good job, man. Skylar, Fire, Skyvar? What am I looking at? Silver Fire, okay, there we go. Silver Fire is doing the right thing here. He is going after mines. Mines are valuable. Oh. I don't know what just happened there, but it wasn't good for us. Pulling away, using the terrain. Who's behind me? Oh, it's that P-47, man. He does not want to let go. That's alright. He's not going to be able to follow us. I've rolled for cooling on the boost here, and we are spec'd out, so we're able to keep this thing up over 400 at a 40-degree climb. And now he's just asking for trouble. This heavy is gone. Nice. Yeah, they just picked up the mine. We kind of saw that coming. Let's escort our B-32 here. See a P-47. Nice. There's the Doe 217M. Killed him once already. Let's see if we can finish him off here. Now, the Doe 217 doesn't have the same type of firepower as all the other bombers that we would see at this tier. But we can do alright for ourselves. Alright, Silver Fire. Let's see what we can do this time. We had a couple of bad run-ins on this guy. We do have the polished skin giving us some increased speed in the dive, but we don't have a G-suit or anything like that, so this velocity is very dangerous for us. Got him. Ooh, I saw that P-38. We'll throw up the GG. So, very high velocity aircraft. It can be a lot of fun to fly. There were a lot of humans in that match. Look at that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 per side. Not too shabby. Let's get back to the hangar and take another quick look at the aircraft. And then we're actually going to hop into the Yak-3RD as well, because we're going to fly both Rocket Bros here, just that way you get a good understanding. Now, the 302, I have described it as the poor person's version of a J8M because, you know, it's a little bit cheaper. And it's not a bad deal for what they've got going on right now if you were thinking about picking it up. But if you were to try and counter this aircraft, it's actually a lot easier to counter than it would be with a J8M. A J8M is very small, it's very quick, it's way faster than this thing is when it comes to the altitudes it can operate at and the acceleration. But for this aircraft, it's a much bigger hitbox than the J8M, so it's actually a little bit easier to take out, and it's very fragile. Taking out any one of these engines will very much hinder its ability to get away from you, and it's easy to take those out because there are actually 3 engines on the aircraft, these 2 ramjets, and then the booster and the tail. So if you take any of those 3 out, it's going to effectively eliminate a lot of its velocity. And you saw that I did lose my engine that one time we almost got taken out, but fortunately I am specialized, so I do have an extra consumable here, and I go ahead and throw in the engine restart. I do think that that's a valuable asset to have. So if you are trying to counter this thing, getting some pot shots off at it and getting any type of crit on the engines is definitely your best way to go, and then just hound him, because at that point he's going to be done for. And F2ing him for your friendlies to go after him is also a really good option as well. Now let's take a look at the Yak-3RD. Now the Yak-3RD is actually a very maneuverable platform. We're going to put a relatively balanced crew in here. I hated the Yak-3. I hated it on the normal tech tree, but when it came to the Yak-3RD, you sacrifice some of the machine guns, and you have a single 23 in the hub, and it's a pretty good 23. But now you get a rocket booster in the tail. So why does that make it any better? Like, you hated the Yak-3, why would you like the RD anymore? Well, like I said before, a rocket motor really doesn't care as much about altitude. It seems like it still gets the same amount of thrust when you hit that boost button. So it has the ability to really push the limits and climb to altitudes it probably shouldn't be operating at, and can get those clutch intercepts. Now, the DPM definitely is not there with a single gun, but you also have flexibility of speed. It's not just about the climb and getting those kind of clutch kills in when you need to towards the end of a match, but it will also allow you to be able to get to the zones you need to be used. One of the things I've always hated about turn fighters is they're really good at defending a singular zone, but making the commitment to go to another sector usually means that there's a lot of time lost transiting between those 2 zones. So during that transit time, somebody might come in and snag the zone you just left. And if you would have stayed there, you probably would have been able to defend it because you're a much more maneuverable platform, and anybody operating in your altitude block is pretty much going to be done for. But with the rocket motor, you have the ability to get to each one of those sectors very quickly. And I think that makes it easier for me to be able to influence the battlefield, and it makes it easier for me to say, yeah, I'll fly the Yak-3 RD. I wasn't expecting to like it until I got chased down by one of these in a P-51, and I'm like, this is insane, how am I getting chased by a Yak-3? But it's that rocket booster in the tail. Again, it's just a single 23 in the nose here, and you can see when we check this out, that gun is only pumping out 170 damage per second. At this tier, that's not really great. But again, we're getting a platform that I'm already up to almost 500 miles an hour just tapping that boost. And we can dogfight all these little light fighters here. As soon as I slam on the brakes, I am now a Yak-3 again. I may have a rocket booster in the tail, but I am now the dogfighter extraordinaire that we've all known and loved when we talk about a Yak-3. And there we go, we got the zone. I'm going to F2 the mine yet again, and now it's time for me to go to the airfield to go defend that. I'm going to hit the boost cooler, and we're just going to hammer down. Actually gain a little bit of altitude here. Let the passive regen kick back on. We'll F2 the very dangerous Spitfire that's specialized over here. Use a little bit more of the boost. If you don't use it, you lose it. One's taken out. There's still another one here. We're not the only one attacking him, but we were the one to get the kill. Oh, jeez. Sorry, Kenny. There's a heavy. Using that velocity to get some extra hits in. We really need to get their mine, though. I see the multi-rolls coming in. Kenny, you bit off on the first one. Never bite off on the first one. Always go after the second, because this guy was on your 6. Alright, cool. We ended up getting both of them anyways. And I think we'll be getting the mine, so that's good to hear. Looks like things are going well. We have a heavy player on our team. Yeah, on our team, Moonrider. Nice job. We'll just stay with Kenny here. Oh. Might have turned on the first one, but there isn't anybody close enough for me to be too worried about it. There we go. And you actually have some pretty decent range with this cannon, so it can surprise you sometimes. Get that booster to get the nose around. Is that his tail gunner shooting at me? Spitfire. Oh! I don't know what just happened there. It looked pretty vicious. That 170 damage per second adds up, especially with a fire. Time to kill isn't going to be setting any records here, but it does feel good to fly, so. And that rocket booster really can kick the tail over for those kind of brake turns that we like to talk about. Now, again, this thing, the lack of damage will bite it quite a bit. Like, there's quite a few times that I've been flying this thing and I've been disappointed because I got a team of guys that are flying in Spitfires that are working together. And sure, one-on-one, I feel very confident that I can chase down the baddies if I need to. Boy. If I need to, I can chase anybody down, and I can outturn just about anybody as well at this tier, but... Oh, Kenny got him. We're like fighting each other for kills now. I can outturn anybody, I can outpace anybody with a rocket booster going. So that works out well for us, but if there's two guys in Spitfires, or any two guys working together, two people, I should say, working together, they can usually turn the tables on me fairly easily, just because they can put me in a position where I am fighting against one and the other one can take advantage of the distracted player, which is me. And these guys with the 420s, all they need is a couple of brushing passes and they're going to turn the advantage. Like we saw right there, all three of those multi-rules kind of lining me up. We'll throw the GG out there, and yeah guys, that's it. That's the Yak 3RD as well as the 302, and I think that they're still pricey bundles, so like you're talking like 35 bucks a piece or something like that, $30 and some change. It's not a cheap deal, but if you were hankering for a 302, it's available, so you can pick it up. And I told you how to counter it. To counter the Yak 3RD, I told you how to counter this as well. Work with somebody else. Wait for it to be distracted. Wait for it to be engaging another target. Or just stay out of the altitude block. I might be able to climb up to you and use the pretty good range. We're talking about the range of like a tier 10 23mm cannon here, going out to 2,600 feet and hit out to over 3,000. But I'm going to put myself in a bad energy state to do it. So if you're hitting F4 on my aircraft and calling in allies to engage, usually that's going to put me in a bad spot. And I just don't have the DPMs. So if you put me into a climb, a lot of times I'm going to be finding myself struggling at best. So yeah, that's the Yak 3RD's really big downfall. And flights. Flights will just crush me, guys. Anyways, hope you guys enjoyed today's video, and for those of you that are interested in picking these up, at least now you can make an informed decision. And for those of you that aren't interested in putting any money into this game at all, that is totally cool. I get that, that's fine, but now you know how to counter them. Hopefully this will help you guys out as well, since you may see a few more of these than usual coming up probably this weekend. So hopefully you guys enjoyed the video, and as always, I'll catch you on the next one.